Well, welcome to Module 3 entitled Understanding Your Users. Now, before we start work on Module 3, I want to jump back quickly to Module 2 and share my thoughts on that one assignment, the blog post asking the question, is it ever okay to defy standards? Now, as you may remember, I gave you a hint in that assignment, and that was the Dick Fosbury high jump from the 1968 Olympics, which is when he introduced the Fosbury flop, which then became the new way to do the high jump. So as you probably have guessed, my answer is that yes, it is okay to sometimes break standards. But we need to be sure that we don't misinterpret that, meaning it's always okay to break standards. Now, I think there are two certain conditions that need to be met before you can say that breaking standards is an alright thing to do. The first is you need to know the existing standard. So not only be aware that it exists, but understand why it exists. The second one is be certain that you are making an improvement. And really what this means is don't be different just to be different. Don't decide you're going to break a standard just because you don't want to do things like everyone else. You know, I think a lot about this in my day job. So as you know from the introductory blog posts, I work in online education at Yale. And when we think about how do we introduce technology into teaching, when we translate a course into an online course, you know, technology can do just about anything. And one of the challenge is limiting yourself and not introducing new technologies or new ways of teaching just because you can. We need to start with the goals, with what we're trying to achieve, and then figure out if there are new technologies or a new way of doing things in an online classroom that makes sense and will allow us to meet those goals more efficiently. We need to be very careful that we're not doing things differently just because we want to be different. So again, two things that you need to keep in mind before you go off breaking standards. Know and understand why something is considered a standard, and be certain that what you're doing is making an improvement and you're not just doing it because you want to be different. If those two conditions are met, it might just be okay for you to break a standard. Alright, well let's start talking about Module 3, where as I said, the topic of this module is understanding your user. Now, we're not only going to talk about each of you as the individual user, because I think that would be quite boring, and it also would not be very helpful for you all as you progress on in your careers in digital media. See, what I mean is that, believe it or not, not every website in the world is being created or thought of or designed with you in particular in mind. Even if you go back and look through the introductory blog posts with the 10 students we have in the course, I mean, you'll see how different your backgrounds are, how different your perspectives are, how it's more than likely that you are all looking for different websites, and when you get to websites, you're looking for different things with different approaches. So I would not design a website the same way for each of you in this class. That means we need to start thinking of other users when we talk about the most effective design. And that's what we're going to do in this module. We're going to start to think about how to create websites with very different audiences in mind. Because as we'll see, most websites don't cater to just one audience. They have to think about a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different users. And what we'll do in this module is we'll start to develop some tactics, if you will, for designing websites with different users in mind and sort of step outside of ourselves, if you will. I feel like I say this every week, but this is one of the more fun modules we will do all semester. I like this one because it includes a lot of creativity and original writing, so if you sort of enjoy that at all, if you like writing at all, this module is going to be for you. So with that, why don't we take a look at each of the individual assignments.